what a morning so far. I had to bring a load of stuff down. Well, I wanted to bring a few things down to the shop, and I thought, you know what, rather than keep bringing little bits and pieces down to the shop each time, I would just bring down a load of stuff and keep it in the cage that I have downstairs. It's quite secure, and if someone wants to steal 12 bottles of water, go for it. If you want to steal some empty candle jars that have got my logo all over it, go for it. There's not a lot I could actually do, but I thought, well, as long as I bring everything in, it's there. I don't have to keep thinking, oh, I can't do something because it's at home. I can just shut the door for 5 minutes, go downstairs, grab what I need, and it's all there. So that was that this morning. I've just brought the rest of the stuff up, got to get myself all set up. But anyhow, welcome to the August vlog. So much has been happening. I'm feeling great, still not 100%, but I'm feeling great. And all these ideas that I've had built up for the last 12 months, I've finally been able to get some of those into action. And I'm going to share some of what has been happening and then show you what we're going to do for the week as well. But first of all, I need to get this computer plugged in over there, get the door open, and then we can get on with me telling you what's been going on. All right, so I finally have time to actually stop and talk to you guys and give you a little bit of a catch up. So much has happened since the August vlog, and it's really given me this big burst of life and enthusiasm. I'm still not 100% on my health, but we're getting there. Things are really improving, and I'm feeling so much better than I have felt in the last few years. When we left off on the last vlog, I was talking about doing white label and how I'd given up with wholesale. I've just had so many nightmares with wholesale, and I have now actually just put my foot down completely. I was asked if I could actually expand on that a little bit. I've had so many dramas with wholesale. I'm not going to go into the whole thing. I have spoken to my patrons about some of the things that have happened, and it's just strange. Like, so many other people have so many positive things with wholesale, but I just seem to always, I can't think of any other way of saying it, but I always just seem to get screwed over with wholesale. And I'm not interested in it anymore. I've put my foot down. My last wholesale person I have now just basically gone, I'm not doing it anymore, because he was doing the wrong thing as well. The latest one, we had all the terms and conditions set out as to minimum quantities that needed to be ordered, minimum order amounts and stuff like that. And each time he was ordering, the first couple of orders were fine, and then it got to a point where he wasn't ordering multiples. He was just picking up 1 or 2 things, and he also wasn't reaching the minimum order quantities. But, you know, times have just been so tough that it's pretty much like, you know, it's money. I need to take this money and make a sale. So I let quite a number of these non-wholesale orders go through. And the last one that he did, he actually called me rather than coming up to the shop, because he's only down in Cleveland, just around from where I was. He called me and he said that he had a customer going in for a treatment next week and they wanted X, Y, and Z. How much was it to get posted? And I'm thinking, hey, hang on, this isn't a wholesale order. But again, it was like, I need the money. He's caught me off guard. I told him what the postage was. We arranged to get it sent down. And the more I sat and thought about it, I thought, no, this is stealing my customers. These people, if they're prepared to pay in the postage, they need to be coming direct to me to order. This isn't wholesale. This is, you know, if you want to start doing orders like that, then we start talking commission, not wholesale. Commission would be about 20% that you can make off it, not 50%. And I was a bit caught off guard with that one and let it through. And then the other day, a customer of mine down there was asking me some questions about products, which I said I don't do anymore. And then she said, oh, well, I've been buying from this person. It's like, okay, well, that's great. But, you know, you have to buy what that is on their shelf, otherwise, you know. Anyway, the person did contact me again the other day on the weekend, and he said, I've got a customer coming in for a treatment and this is what they want. And he said, the only thing I've got on my shelf is this. And I said, well, at the end of the day, we're doing wholesale, and the terms and conditions of you getting that discount is that you've got to order minimum amounts of each product and that you've got to order a minimum amount of stock. And I said, if you can't do that, I said, that customer needs to come directly to me, especially, I mean, the last one, we charged postage. And he said, oh, I didn't charge them the postage. I thought, well, no wonder they're not coming to me. If they only placing, you know, an $80 order and they're going to have to pay me postage, of course they're going to go to him to get it. And I just thought, well, that's just crazy, because I'm not going to say exactly what it was, but let's say it was an $80 order. It was a little bit more than that. But say it's an $80 order. So I've only made 40 out of that. He's made 40, but I charged, what was it? I think I charged him the full $12.95 for the shipping to go down there. He's taken that out of his $40. It's like, that's just crazy. I don't know, I just couldn't do it. But I said to him the other day, I said, look, if you're not going to order wholesale, I can't do this. I said, those customers need to come direct to me. The economy's not good enough for me to keep letting this slide. I can't sacrifice 50% of my profits. Now, he did seem okay, but I doubt he'll order anything else from me, and I doubt this customer will come direct to me, because I just don't think she wants to pay the shipping. But it is what it is. Most people are going to say, oh, but a sale's a sale. It is, but why should I sacrifice 50% of my profit because someone doesn't want to pay postage? You know, so I've put my foot down. I'm no longer doing wholesale in any way, shape or form. But some of the other things I've had happen to me in the past, I've had things like people have bought them and then given, like they've bought wholesale and then given as corporate or client gifts. I had a florist that did it one year, and I sent so many people to this florist, and so many people came back to me saying she doesn't have the candles, she claims not to know what you're talking about and stuff. And when I confronted her, she told me that she'd bought them as Christmas presents for her family. And I was just so cross and angry, because even though a sale is a sale and it's money in your pocket, you sacrifice 50% of your profit. It's usually around that amount for wholesale, because you can get your products into places where you normally can't get them. So it does give you exposure, and it also gives you that repeat customer of that retailer. They're going to keep coming back and restocking. Whereas when someone buys it for family Christmas presents, or they're buying it for their Christmas client gifts for that year, they're not likely to come back to you again, because most businesses will buy from a different place each time. So I'm not prepared to sacrifice that much profit when it's not getting my name out to where it actually should be. So I've pretty much just gone, I'm not doing wholesale anymore. If people want my products, they do actually need to come directly through to me. But I have decided to do white label, and this will actually eliminate the people who buy wholesale to do corporate gifts and stuff, because basically now what I do is I make the product, send it off, and then it is up to the person, the next business who receives them, to put the labels onto them. So I'm not even doing private label, because, oh gosh, private label can be very difficult as well when you know that you've got to get certain design elements onto a label, and then the other company is just being very difficult and not wanting certain things. It's like, but legally it has to be there. And then, you can never get the exact right color because your print is slightly different and all this sort of stuff. So I don't even want to do private label because the dramas that go with that. But I thought, no, we'll do white label. And within a week of finishing up that last vlog, I got all of the lip balms listed both onto my website and onto Fair as well. I've had a few people look on Fair, but I've actually had the orders coming through on the website, which is absolutely fantastic. So thank you to everyone who already has placed orders with me on the website for the white label lip balms. I absolutely love making them up, and I have got options as well. So there is something to suit most people's businesses. I have both the white and the black tubes available. We offer the original, I say we all the time, I offer the beeswax original recipe as well as a vegan friendly recipe. And then I've got, I think there's about 23 flavors that you can choose from, and there's a mix of natural and man-made flavors. So if you are a business that is branded to vegan friendly, natural products, then you go with my vegan recipe and choose the natural flavors that are there. So there's definitely something for everybody. And quite a few people have been ordering on there already, which, yeah, I'm just absolutely blown away. Now, I did say it is also available on Fair, but because Fair do have some advantages to ordering with them, especially if you're a new Fair user. You can do things like buy now and pay for stuff in the future. I still get paid pretty much within the time limit I'm meant to be paid, but they do give that person time to pay. And there's a few other, if you're a new user, you get free postage for the first year, and so they do compensate me for that. But because of those extras, the fees that Fair charge, the commissions, are absolutely extortionate to cover those incentives that they give to you to order through Fair. So, it's got to come from somewhere. So I actually have incentives on my own website to try and make you order directly with me. So things like lower minimum orders. There are a couple of things like if you order a couple of the sizes come with free sample pots, whereas on Fair you will always have to buy your sample pots. I have a cheaper shipping rate and a lower free shipping threshold on my website as well. If you are a business and you are thinking about adding lip balm, you just don't have the time or the space to make it, or you just don't want to mess around trying to find a good recipe, you can go and check it out on the website. But what you have to do is, when you go on the website, is create an account and then let me know your business name, and it has to be a Bath and Body business. So I need to be able to look you up. You can't come to me with something like Pink Electrical and be an electrician and get those things. It needs to be Bath and Body. Once I've got your business details, I can grant you access to white label, and then when you click on the white label tab, it will actually show you what is in there. And at the moment it is all lip balms, but coming in a couple of weeks there is also going to be soap. It's one of those things I've been procrastinating about for ages. I've been wanting to offer soap like this for so long, and I've got these dilemmas going through my head about curing it, how long to hold on to it for, what size batches to do, and all this sort of thing. And I sat there at the beginning of August and I thought, for all the time that I have sat there trying to work out how to tackle doing white label soap, I could have already made the soap and had them cured and sending out. So I kicked my butt into gear and just said, right, work out what soaps you want to make to have on offer and just start making them. And once you've got them on the rack, then I can actually start thinking about at what point do I start offering them. For me personally, I don't want to ship my soaps out until they've gone through to their full 4-week cure process. Part of that is due to the fact that I feel with my soaps personally, with my recipe, the water discounting and all of that, they are not ready to be shipped until 4 weeks. If I try and send them at 2 weeks, I think they might get damaged in the post. The other thing is, like, people say, oh, we send them out at 2 weeks. When you send them in the post, they're sitting like that. They're not getting air going around them. So even though people say, oh, well, it's been in the post for a week, so it's cured for a week in the box. Well, for starters, they're like that. They're then inside a box which has very limited air. So my mind says they're not curing while they're shipping, not getting a full cure. They're probably only getting half a cure. So if you're sending them out at 2 weeks like that, they're probably only 2.5 weeks cured. That's how my head works. If it works for you, you go ahead and do it. But for me, that's not how it works in my head. So I want my soaps to go out as I intend the end user to receive these soaps. So this is one of the sort of battles that have been going through my head. But I now have a cure rack full of soap, and now I'm actually able to start processing what I'm going to do with these soaps. And I think when we get to that 3rd week, that's when I'm going to start releasing it on my website in the white label section with a 1-week turnaround. That means that if I get bombarded in the first week, people know that they're going to have to wait another week, but it will give me an idea of going, right, so this soap's popular, this one's popular, and so is this one, so I need to make some more of that right now. Whereas I can say, well, that soap, no one's actually touched that, so I don't need to worry about making any of that right now. So I think in my head, that's how it's going to go. It'll probably be that I release it when it's 3 weeks old and no one will order it for 4 or 5 weeks. It's always the way, and then I won't know what I'm meant to be making, but it is what it is. So yeah, that's what I've been working on. I've just filled up another rack which we need to go and put away, and then I'll show you what that white label is looking like. So this is my cure rack. It's probably wondered what on earth has happened to it, because it has not been this full in at least 2 years. In the last year, it's been lucky to have at least 3 or 4 different soap batches on it. But right now, we have got at least 20, I think it is. We've got 2, 4, 6, 8, 9. No, we've got 18 loaves on there, because all of them are kind of like double batches, but he's never had so many soap bars on there. In fact, it got to the point last week I said to people, does anyone know where I can get this chrome shelving the way I originally got it, as a build your own system? So when I first got this, it was when Kmart was still somewhat semi-decent and had the proper checkout systems. We won't go on to that high horse, but they sold it so you could go in and you could buy the height legs that you wanted, and I bought the tallest one I could get, and then you could buy these shelves separately, and they were something like $10 a shelf. And they came in all different shapes, sizes, that sort of thing. So I was able to buy myself 10 shelves and the 4 legs and construct what I felt was my absolute dream cure rack. These days, the only thing you can do, we've got another one over here, is buy a complete system, and generally they only come with 4 or 5 shelves. So if you want 10 racks, you have to buy 2 and then chuck away 4 legs. And I just feel when we already live in such a wasteful society, I didn't want to do that, but it just appears that no one actually sells, I'll rephrase that. No one sells these rack systems as a build your own at a reasonable price. I did find one on the weekend where I could do it, but these shelves alone were $45 each. And if I want 10, that's $450 before I've even bought the legs. That big unit down the back there was $139. So I could actually buy 2 of those, get the legs and the 10 racks for far less money. It's just crazy. But I was suggested by one of my customers, Katie, to why not try the Flexi storage system drawers. So for $100, I was able to go and get 2 of these sets from Bunnings, and I've just now filled them with all of the soaps that I had sitting on my bench that needed to be put away. So that is all done and it is looking really good. But these are pretty much all of the white label soaps that I have got that I'm going to be offering. The rack, I don't know if, there it is, the rack that's kind of across there, so the second one up with the soaps, that's all actually shop soaps, so they're actually going to go onto the shop shelf, but everything else on this rack will be white label, and we've got everything. Now, just like with the lip balms, I have got something for pretty much every business, apart from the fact that they're all made with my signature recipe. So they do have palm in them, but I just don't have space to be able to do all the different soap recipes. So it is what it is. There's plenty of others out there that do them palm free. Basically though, I will have some natural. So like this is an avocado and mint, and it's made with natural colorants and essential oils. We got the calamine because everyone loves it. All these soaps up here are all natural colors and essential oils in them. We do then also have the goat's milk and oatmeal soap, which is always popular within my own shelves, and that's got no scent in it. And then we've also got a pine tar as well, because I thought some people might want that. But then we come down into ones like these and that have gone into the drawer, which have all got mica, which is a natural colorant, but do have fragrance oils in them. So there is going to be something for most businesses that they'll be able to pick. I've pretty much decided I'm going to offer them in like a little bundle pack, so maybe 25 soaps for a set price, and then I'm also going to have them listed as individual bundles of 5 as well, so you could come along, order the bundle of 25, which would be like 5 soaps with 5 different smells, and you can pick which ones, and then if you want to actually top them up, you can top them up with any of the other sort of ones as individuals as well. When it goes onto the website, it will make more sense to people, but this is the kind of things I've been working on. But I'm really pleased with how that has progressed along, and it's just given me so much extra oomph, and yeah, it's just made me feel really good. The other really good thing, while I was making all of that soap, over the 2 weeks that I was making, I had all that smell wafting out, and I was constantly moving around and making stuff. It kept drawing people into the shop, and because they could see I was making stuff, they could hear the noises of making stuff. It encouraged them to buy stuff from off the shelf. And over those 2 weeks, I've actually now got quite a few sort of empty spots on the shelf. So I've actually got things to do this week, and hopefully while I'm making that stuff, that will draw more people in. And then by the time that soap goes on the website, I'll be making more soap, and it will become like this sort of continuous cycle of making the shop look busy and getting that sort of feel and getting people flowing through. So really happy with that. What I do need to go and do, I need to go and have a little bit of lunch because it is about 1 o'clock. And then I have a soap that I need to make, which I'm really excited about. Another new thing that's gone onto the website, I have put something called Builder Soap. When I did the white label lip balms and when I'm going to do the soap, I needed to implement a app into my Shopify store that allowed people to pick options to go with their product. And it's very, very hard to do options natively through Shopify. You basically usually have to say to people, leave in the comments what you want. So you might say, you can have a bundle of soap and just pick 5 cents, and you usually have to get them to tell you what those cents are in the comments section. But there is an app that George from King of Suds recommended to me where you can say, this is the box, these are your options, and they just tick what they want, or someone ticks what they want, and then it comes through as an order. So I was using that for the white label lip balm, and I thought, well, it's a bit of a waste just to be only using it for this when there is so much potential for this app. So I ended up taking a leaf out of George's book and offering something similar to what he's got, where you can build your own custom soaps. And I've called mine Builder Soap. So you can go in, you can pick one of my soap recipes, there's 3 to choose from. You can select what liquid you want your soap to be made with. So water, if you pick the Soul Life recipe, you'll automatically get seawater. There's milks and things. You can then pick if you want any other additives to go in it, like honey, milk powders, clays, all those sort of things. There is also then fragrances, both fragrance and essential oil blends. And then there is also colour, so you can pick what colours. And then I've also got it so you can tell me what design that you want, whether you want it layered or swirly swirl, or lots of different things, and how you want the top to look as well. It took me about 2 weeks to build this Builder Soap into the system, but I did release it just over a week ago as I'm filming now, and over the weekend I received my very first order for a custom Builder Soap from Rachel. So I'm going to make that after I've had some lunch. Thank you so much. I was so super excited when that order came in. I was then also like, oh, it didn't work. I found out that there was a bit of a clash between the 2 apps that I use to provide discounts, like both from the same developer. One provides the discounts for like my Pamper Club members, and the other is to give these options. And the 2 apps clash together, and because of the way they clashed, it actually didn't calculate any of the extras. So you do have to pay extra for the different fragrances and the bits and pieces you add. But it hadn't added any of this on. And Rachel, she's been a long time customer of mine. She's absolutely brilliant. And she did write to me saying that it didn't calculate properly and, let me pay. I didn't want to take the whole amount off her because, well, that's my fault that it didn't work. I should have double checked it. I didn't go through all the steps of checking that it worked. I didn't go right through to the final end phase of it, only through to just before the final step. And it's at that final step where it all actually breaks down and doesn't work. But because she'd picked the essential oil blend, I said, how about we go halves in the essential oil blend, and it'll be working next time. So she there was no question about it. She just paid me for that pretty much straight away. So I'm very, very grateful. Thank you so much, Rachel, for doing that, especially when, it really is my fault for not checking it. But I'm so grateful she did that. And now I get to make her custom soap. It does take 4 to 6 weeks I have as a lead time, because it does depend on what weather's doing. But I should be able to get these knocked out and to her in 4 weeks' time. And basically when you do the Builder Soap, you can either do a 9 or an 18 loaf of soap, and you just get the soaps as are. So I cut them, I trim the sides, and then when they're ready, I pop them into a box and I send the box. So there's no labeling or anything else like that on there. So not only does this make it good that if you've got a soap that you really, really want and love, and you just think, I'm going to get a whole loaf of it, because it does save you a lot of money to do it that way. They're really good for other businesses as well. So if you are someone, maybe you are going to some markets in a few months' time and you really want some soaps to take with you, or maybe you're a business that does a lot of gift packs and you just want a couple of soaps to go into these gift packs, but you don't have time, space, or you don't want to work with lye, or you don't want to worry about registering with Essex and all that sort of stuff, I can make those soaps for you, and then you can relabel and brand them to your business. What I will say, that if you are a business and you are looking at having me make your soaps rather than doing my white label pre-made soaps, if you want a specific soap made and you're going to keep using that, get yourself onto the white label account, because I do have the builder soap in there with a little bit more of a discount, so it does give you that bit more of a profit margin as well. But if you just want to try it out to start with, just go into that builder soap, you can build it, and then if it's something you definitely want to keep doing with me, then just get yourself that white label account. Anyhow, I need to go and eat. I'm hungry, and then once I've eaten, I'm going to get on to making Rachel's soap. Okay, so there it is, the very first builder soap in the mold, setting up overnight. She wanted it with a white background. We've got yellow, light green and dark green swirls through it. So I tried to do my little curly whirly swirl. Hopefully it works. And she selected to have just a very light textured chopstick sort of topping on there. It looks really good. It's got my Aussie Bush essential oil blend. And as soon as I actually finished making it, I had people coming through the door going, oh my God, it smells so good, which then meant I could actually sell some of my Claytanicals Aussie Bush soap as well, because I said, this is basically what I've made, but instead the Aussie Bush one's all natural colorants rather than micas. So I've been able to sell a couple of those, which has been absolutely fantastic. So thank you, Rachel, for helping promote those sales as well. I have had a bit of a clean, tidy up sort of thing, and now I've got some confetti soap bags here which need to be tagged and labeled here. These bags have proven to be really popular, and last week I actually sold out of them. I just haven't made any up, so I quickly made some more up last week, and this week I have to put the little tags on, and I've changed. The reason I put off making them was because I wanted to change how I had the tags. Previously I just had Here's one here. I just had a tag with the ingredients, the barcode and everything on it. And I used to have to explain to everyone exactly how to use them. So I've changed it. So there's now 2 tags. The front one says what it is and how to use it. And then the back one has the ingredients and the barcode. So happy with how they're looking. So I'm going to get these out onto the side. It's been a pretty good day. I didn't actually feel like I had done a lot. That always happens when I film though, because you know, you spend so much time moving the camera around trying to work out what you're going to do next and that sort of thing. So quite often I don't feel like I've achieved as much as I actually do when I'm filming. But when I've just sat and looked at it, I thought, well, I have made the soap, which was my ultimate goal for today, was to make that. Got that cure rack all together, tidied up all the soaps, which actually there were 4 different soaps and there's 2 loaves of each of them. So there were 8 loaves of soap there for me to tidy up and get put away. I did also get notification on my weekend. I finally got around to doing my Vistaprint order. Again, something else I've just been putting off, but I really needed to do it because I needed new thank you cards for the white label stuff. My retail thank you cards didn't really match in with my white label stuff. And then last week I realized that for retail I literally only have that many thank you cards left to go into orders, and it does look, I've searched everywhere for another bundle of these, but it does look like I've actually now used them all. So I thought I didn't want to do the same one again, so I've actually redesigned my little thank you cards to go into orders. These were my very original ones I had printed through Vistaprint, and then I swapped to these, and I can't wait. Hopefully I get them by the end of the week, but I will actually show you what the new design is, whether I get them in person or have to show you an image on the computer. I also wanted to get done up, I do these little magnets that I pop into orders. I try to always put them in. If I know that you've ordered regularly but you haven't got this design, I try to remember to put it in, and I try to remember to put them into all first time orders. And they're just like little quotes about pampering and then the code to go to the website. This will be my 4th one I've designed. So they're kind of going to be almost like collectible. I'm kicking myself because I never kept the first one for myself, but I have kept the other designs that I've done, and now I've actually done another new design. And I also had to do up my ingredients list for the white label lip balm. And I did all of this yesterday on Vistaprint. Yesterday afternoon I finalised it at must have been about 4 o'clock. And I've spoken about this before, that when I go onto Vistaprint, I never use the priority shipping stuff unless it's Christmas and everyone's getting stuff printed. But generally during the year I never use priority printing that, you know, is meant to push it through quicker and you get it quicker, because I put this through, finalised it all about 4 o'clock yesterday, and about lunchtime, just after lunchtime today, I got notification to say the whole lot had been printed and is having its shipping labels prepared. So hopefully I'll have it by the end of the week and I can show people all the new printing. But that is it. Excuse me, that is it for today. I did actually get a fair amount of stuff done. I am now back at the point, in all my previous vlogs for a little while, I've pretty much taken each day by day just to see what needs to be done. And I haven't done what I used to always do, which was write down a big list of things that needed to be done for the week and then split them up into day by day. But I'm back at that point now where I actually need to write down what my tasks are for the next day. So I've done that. Tomorrow we need to make candles. We've got a few spots on the shelf that I'm missing. I also need to make diffusers. I have to top up the lemongrass and Persian lime scent that goes with the car air fresheners, because that has completely sold out. And I also want to fill the oil tank back up because I have other soaps that I need to make and I've only got enough oil in there maybe to make 2 loaves. So that is going to be the task for tomorrow. I know that today's footage is going to be super duper long. Oh, it's going to be a big long vlog. If it's really, really long, we might not film as many days. We'll see. I know you guys love it, but I hate editing it. But anyhow, I'm going to get this done, do my cash up, and then head on home because I've got 5 minutes. And I want to get home before this weather out here gets really quite miserable. So we've got the wax tank on, we're starting to melt down the soy wax, and we're going to get on to making candles today. It is a wet, miserable day, so unfortunately Pepper and I didn't get to go for a walk today, but hopefully we'll go tomorrow. But there are lots of people outside, so my aim today is to, in a minute, get my door back open again. I've just got it closed while I have a quick chat. Oh, sorry, my tank's making funny noises as the wax melts. The aim is to get that door back open and start making soy candles and restocking the shelf. So this morning I was actually 10 minutes late opening the door because I had to bring up a new directions order that I received yesterday. I ordered some more shea butter because I only have a little bit left, some more apple seed oil for the hyaluronic acid face gel, which has been proven to be really popular, and I've also got a whole heap of these perfume bottles in. I've been waiting for them to be restocked for so long, and I noticed they had the other day, so I've got some of those. Now the perfumes are only sold in store because they're an alcohol based perfume. I cannot ship them, but I am almost out on the shelves in the store, so I have got some new bottles and we'll make those up this week. So I had to bring that up, and I also had to bring up all the candle jars as well from downstairs. What I have to do now is actually clean those candle jars up so that we can get them wicked up and then start pouring candles in, and hopefully as I'm doing that, those smells will waft out into the street and we'll get more people coming in. I have to get the custom soap cut today as well. And then I want to start thinking about making, I have to actually check my soap dough box. I want to start thinking about making some Halloween soaps, Christmas soaps. And this year I am going to do an advent calendar for those that follow along on Instagram and Facebook, particularly for my Aussie customers. Or any of my customers, because I know that we do have Tara as well, who is overseas but uses the mail forwarder. I did ask about the advent calendars. I had pretty much given up on the idea of doing an advent calendar this year. Last year's didn't sell very well because of the price that I make them to make them affordable. When they don't sell, I end up not making money on them by having to discount them to get, to actually sell them. And it really disheartened me last year that compared to the previous years that they hadn't sold. And I know it was a lot to do with the economy, also the fact that I had moved. I sold hardly any. I think I only sold 3 in the shop last year, whereas the previous year when I was in Cleveland, I sold half in store and half online. So it was a real hit to my confidence on them, just not selling them. And I kind of thought, well, that's it, can't do them. I also had run out of the boxes that I had designed, and because of where my head has been, I just haven't had that sort of mental ability to design new boxes I wanted different designs for this year. I didn't want to have the same design for a 3rd year running, but I just didn't have that mental ability to sit down and come up with new designs. And as the weeks kept going by, it's like, it's not going to get done. It's not going to I can't do it, I'm just going to have to get on here and say not doing advent calendars this year. But I knew people were going to be disappointed at it as well, so I kept putting it off. And the other day I actually woke up and I thought, you know what, I don't have to go and get more boxes done. Maybe we can look at that again as something different for another year. But how about, I'd seen people doing it like for personal use and stuff. I have seen a couple of businesses since as well. I thought, why not wrap each of the products up individually and then pop them into a box rather than them all being the same size and looking the same, which then restricts me on what I can actually fit into a box. Why don't I just get in, so say for example I can get a bottle in like this and fill it up with, I don't know, you know, or I could get something like this that might not fit in the box but is affordable to make as a product. It didn't restrict me on what size products I could offer, and then I can actually wrap them up in paper, which makes it a little bit more fun because people can pick something up and go, oh, what is it, and try and guess what it is just by the feel of it. So I actually put it out on Instagram and Facebook asking customers for their thoughts, whether they liked the idea of me doing an advent calendar that way. And I generally always say on them, I want my customers' thoughts, because at the end of the day, as much as I love that everyone's following me, there's no point someone in America or the UK telling me that they like the idea, because they're not going to be able to buy it. So I need to know what my actual customers or potential customers think of the idea. And so many people actually did respond, and there were people I know do generally buy the calendar, and everyone seemed to really like this idea. So I am going to do an advent calendar this year, so I need to start getting on top of that, making all the products, and then they'll all just be individually wrapped. And I'm so looking forward to it because I love gift wrapping. So there will be products in there that I will gift wrap in a way that you'll be confused when you open it up, because it won't be what you probably thinking it is going to be. But anyhow, I'm not going to spoil that too much, but I do have to start getting on thinking about that, getting that all planned as well. But for now, I think I've yacked enough. I'm going to go and get my door open, start cleaning up these candle jars and get that smell wafting out into the street. It's about 20 past 2 and I really need this cup of coffee. It's been a productive day. I have got all the candles poured over there that I needed to get done. Now, unfortunately, as soon as that wax was melted and ready to go, the heavens opened outside. and it really cleared the street out. It even cleared a lot of the cars out. People basically got in their cars and left, and the whole time I was pouring these candles, the weather was just absolutely tragic. So it really didn't bring the people in, but the shop does actually smell good from having poured all the candles. And this time around I actually had a lot of the sweet fruity smells. They were all like sweet fruity, all complemented each other. It's a bit hard when you have to pour something like dragon's blood and coconut lime that just really clash and doesn't always smell as good together. But when you have to do the things like the black raspberry, vanilla, coconut lime, sun-kissed and all those that are sweet and fruity, they all complement each other and they just whoosh out into the street and smell so good. But unfortunately, because of the weather, my usual trick did not work as well today. But it is what it is. The weather's cleared up again and it's starting to, you know, get a little bit busy. I've had a couple of people come in, so that's been good. But we've got all those soaps, all those candles poured. I then had a bit of lunch and I've just started to put the oils into the oil tank. So I've got all the hard oils currently melting down, and I've got the first lot of olive oil weighed out to go into the tank, and then I do a second lot, and then that's all nice and full. And while I'm waiting for that to melt, I have just made up my lemongrass and Persian lime fragrance for the car air fresheners. So I'm just popping these into the boxes. Now on the last vlog I mentioned how I had to send off to get my soap boxes reprinted. I was at a point where I was pretty much completely out of them. The only ones I've actually got left were the decorative ones, and I actually got a lot more of the decorative boxes printed on the first run, and I didn't realise it was 2 years ago that I had those printed. So all those boxes lasted me 2 years. I had 2,000 boxes printed and I've got 500 left. So in 2 years I've used 1,500 boxes. For some people that's not going to be a lot, and for other people that's going to be a ton of soap. Keeping in mind that not all of my soaps go into these sleeves either. Some of them have different packaging, so I do make a lot more than that as well. But yeah, I was quite surprised at, it was 2 years ago, but also surprised at how long they did last me. So yeah, it was interesting. But I did send off because I mentioned in there I had to get, I had to redo my QR codes, and I was designing a new box as well. And I sent off the designs, got them all approved, sent them off for printing. And it only took 2.5 weeks, and then I had them on my door. So that is absolutely fantastic. So I got the 3 that I currently have. So I've got my decorative bars. I think this middle one is the ones that have the little extras. That's when I put things like essential oils or exfoliants or something in. And then I have my limited edition ones. So they're the ones where I just tend to put the fragrance and just put some swirls through the soap with no decorative top, no extras on it. They're for the people that just like nice, plain, simple soap. And then I decided I also wanted to get my Claytanical soaps into the boxes as well. I'll go and grab one. So the Claytanicals is a relatively new range, and I kind of want to make it a little bit of a permanent as well. So they'll always be, for example, this Midnight Rose should always be there as a Claytanicals. Everyone really likes this scent. But at the moment, I currently have them in a belly band like that, which is nothing wrong with doing the belly bands. You know, I did them for years before getting these boxes printed up. But I just want them to actually look like the rest of my soaps. The other sort of thing is, as I have discussed before, that the belly bands, even though they look cheaper to make, when you start considering all the indirect costs that go along with doing belly bands on your soaps, sometimes getting things professionally printed can work out to be the same price. You know, the time it takes to print these out, to cut them, to wrap them, to stick them and everything else, that actually takes a fair bit of time to do. Whereas with these boxes, when they're printed, all I have to do is pop them out, pop the soap in and wrap them. So the time there is a huge money saver. You know, you have to save money where we can, but these will be my new Claytanical boxes. So I went with kind of the green and yellow sort of more natural look, whereas the others, the decorative, have got my orange and yellow colours because that's like my signature one, and then the others are kind of like a rainbow of colours. But that will be my new boxes that these go in. So that will basically, it won't fit because I got the belly band on it. But what I like about these boxes, like on a belly band, you can only put stuff around like that, nothing on the bottom. Whereas on these boxes, I've got a lot more room to actually put stuff, so it's not so squished and easy to read. Now, it doesn't have ingredients on the back whenever I do my Claytanicals because they're all different additives in them. I actually make up a quick sticker that I stick to the back of these boxes. So, oh, I just dropped it on the floor. So I was super impressed, really love how the colours have come out, and super impressed with how quick they actually came to me as well. It was one of those things, I got this shipping notification, this has been generated and it will arrive. And I'm thinking, well, what on earth is that order? Because I hadn't heard anything from the printing company. And it took me a good 24 hours to work out that it was the boxes that were coming. It was like, oh my God, they're going to get here in a couple of days. So yeah, I was super, super, super duper impressed with them this time. So any new Claytanical soaps that I make will go into these. Right, what is next? I need to check to see what these oils are doing. Hopefully they are all, oh yes, they are all melted down. So let's turn that off. I need to go and put these ones away. Then I'm going to pop the olive oil into the tank, and then I'm going to get that custom soap loaf unmolded and cut it, and hopefully we've got some beautiful swirls in it. It is time for me to go home. I don't have to go to the post office today. It's been really funny. The last couple of weeks, I've been really busy with online orders. We've had white label orders coming in. I've had lots of people going in the shop. And then the week I go to do the vlog, not a lot is actually happening in those fields. I have had a few people coming into the shop, but not a lot in terms of online orders. And I keep wondering why the last 2 weeks of my month is usually always really quiet. And I'm thinking Australians don't tend to get paid monthly. I know when I was in the UK, you got paid monthly, and that really affects spending habits each month. People tend to get paid at the start of the month, so they spend all their money in the first 2 weeks and nothing for the last 2. But in Australia, we tend to get paid weekly or fortnightly, so we shouldn't have that sort of lull at the end of the month. But I was kind of sitting there thinking about it as all these emails kept pinging through on my phone. I thought, you know what, I end up with all of my bills at the end of the month, so maybe that is what affects how busy it is. But I mean, the good thing is, as a silver lining, I get to go straight home tonight without stopping at the post office. So that's one good thing. Today, I did get most of it done. The only thing I haven't done is made my diffusers. I did hit a bit of a brick wall by 3 o'clock. And when I kind of get into that hitting the brick wall, I don't do a lot of stuff because I know that when I'm tired, things go wrong and then you mess stuff up and it's a waste of product and time and stuff. So I just kind of let myself do a little bit of admin style work. So I kind of sat there and I worked out the sort of designs that I wanted. They're really, really bad drawings, but the designs that I want to do for my Halloween soap, working out what colour soap dough to make, because I did put some soap dough oils to one side. So tomorrow when I come in, I am going to make some soap dough up in the colours I need for my Halloween soaps, and I will try and make these diffusers tomorrow. I also need to make some foaming face scrub and some foaming sugar scrub, so they're on the list for tomorrow. Hopefully it will be a much nicer, brighter, sunnier day, but hubby did say that we have got a couple of days of rain, so we'll see. I am hoping for it to be nice and clear tomorrow so I can take Pepper for a sniffari. Anyhow, I'm going to go home. I am actually quite tired. I've got to go and work out what to do for dinner. And tonight, hubby and I are going to sit and watch the UK 1% Club, because that's back on TV, new episodes. And I'm going to sit and stitch the binding on the quilt that I've been working on. So tomorrow morning, I'll actually show you what that is looking like. But I'm going to go home. All right, it is another miserable day out there. I did wake up with the intention of taking Pepper for a walk. I looked out the bedroom door, and it's like, does look a bit grey, but it's not raining yet. And I got up and came down to where the bathroom is, and I looked out the window. It's like, oh, it is black out there. Like, it is just very, very, very dark. And I thought, hubby's already gone to work. So if I get caught out there in the rain, it's not going to be very nice. And I'm really, really super sensitive to cold water, and the rain where we are is cold. Now, I know that sounds really, really weird, especially if you only live in an area where you get cold rainwater. But when we lived up in Cairns, when it rained, the water was actually usually always warm, so it never bothered me. But when we've lived down here in the southern part of Queensland and the rainwater is actually a lot colder, I do not like getting caught out in the rain. I just do not like the feel of cold water. It's so bad that sometimes when I'm cooking dinner and stuff and I get dirty hands, hubby's there at the sink warming the water up for me because he just knows how much I hate cold water on my skin. It's really, really weird, but hey, we all have our little quirks, and mine is I don't like cold water on my skin. So we did not go for a walk this morning, but hubby did say that if it's okay when he gets home this afternoon, he will actually take her out, which will be a good thing because it's always been me that has walked the dogs. He walks them occasionally, but it's usually always me. So I thought, no, I'll let him take responsibility for this one. I mean, the sun's trying to peek through now, so hopefully by this afternoon it all clears up. Hopefully it clears up fairly early so we have a good day in the shop. But right now you would have seen, would have seen on the footage before this, because I'm about to go and edit it, I was doing my quilting last night. So this is the quilt I've been working on since the last vlog. This is the one for hubby and I to go onto our bed for summer. So we've got a nice summer quilt. And I said I'd probably either be just finishing quilting it or hopefully finished by the time the next vlog came out. I did finish doing the main quilting of this on Monday, I think it was. Yeah, it must have been Monday evening I finished doing the main quilting, and now I'm just putting the binding on it, which is like the final step, finishing the edge off. I was so cross with myself last night though, because I sewed all of the edging or the binding onto the quilt, and then I went to fold it over. I thought, why are all my stitches showing? And I've looked at the back and the stitching is absolutely terrible. It's like, what on earth has gone wrong? And by this point, I've cut everything, and it's like, I'm going to have to undo the whole lot and make more binding because I've done something wrong. And then I realized, because I quilt with what is called monofilament thread, which is a clear polyester thread, you have to loosen your tension to get it to go through the machine. And when I put my binding on and went back to using cotton thread, I forgot to tighten the tension back up. And it was like, no. But luckily, because I actually give myself quite a big border on my binding, I generally give myself a bigger border at the back than I have at the front. I was able to go back around with the correct tension and just bring my stitching in about 1/2 mil to 1 mil so that the correct stitching will be on the outer bit where the little dip is. It makes sense if you sew, but I was actually able to fix it without having to undo the whole lot. So I managed to get that done. After the second question on the 1% Club started, so once I got all that on there, I went and sat with hubby and we watched that together while I started to stitch on the bias binding. So that's the finishing, this very edge grey piece. This is the final bit that I'm now actually hand stitching it. I don't sew bias. Once I've sewn the one side of my bias binding on, I hand stitch the rest because I just don't like the look of stitched binding, because if it's just not even, you see all the stitches. I can't do it. I have to hand stitch my binding on. So, but that's all right. I don't mind doing it. So I will finish this over the next couple of days. This is going to be really hard to show because it is just so big. But basically I've gone round. It's easier to see from the back. You can see when you look at the front, because I use that clear thread, you actually can't see much of the stitching. You can feel this one here. This is what we call stippling, and basically you use a special foot and you drop the feed dogs on your sewing machine, and then you sit and wiggle your fabric all round and you get all these wiggly lines. You can see it better on here. I absolutely love doing the stippling and the effect that it gives. But then on all of my others, I've just stitched around the lines of all the blocks, and really, really happy with how it's turned out. Now, I'm not going to go and get a chair to stand on because I don't feel like dragging them around, but this is kind of what it's starting to look like. Really, really happy with it. If I can get the binding finished over the next couple of days, once it's complete, I will actually take a photo and pop it on here. But yeah, really, really pleased with how this is coming along. And I love the fact that hubby's also had a bit of a say in it as well. So I actually took him to the shops. I think I mentioned last time, I took him to the sewing place, told him what we were doing, or what I was doing. And I said, what fabrics? So he picked the grey. He saw the grey and he liked that. And then I saw the flowery sort of one. Yeah, the flowery pattern. I liked that and I picked it up, and then he said he really liked the sort of dark green in it and found this one in here. So he's had a really good say in what colours were used. I did all the design, what block I wanted, and then I asked him, because I was being really indecisive about what colour binding to put on here. I said, which binding do you want? I said, I'm not putting the flowers because I think it will clash too much. I said, but do you want it with the blue or the grey? And he decided he really liked to have the grey as the binding, and I think he made an excellent choice. I think the blue would have been nice as well, but I actually think the grey looks really good. But it is nice. Gosh, that wore me out doing that. It is nice that he had his say in it as well. He's really good like that. He does support me. In fact, he's fantastic. He supports me so much in everything that I do. And, you know, a lot of men would just ignore someone who's sewing, their partner who sews. But hubby's really supportive of me of it and always helps me, you know, nut things out. But anyhow, I'm going to go and edit some of the vlog so we can get that out in a timely manner and I don't have to do too much in one go. Then we're going to head down to the shop. I'm going to make the reed diffusers. We're going to do the foaming sugar scrub and the foaming face, and I need to make the soap dough as well. And I am hoping, the sun's trying to shine through, I am hoping it's going to come out so we have a good day. We'll see what happens. All right, I have a bit of a problem. I was driving in and I suddenly remembered I was meant to leave home 10 or 15 minutes early and stop off at the local shops and go and grab some sugar. I left home bang on time and I'm driving down the road and I thought, oh, I haven't got sugar, so I can't make foaming sugar scrubs. I thought, that's okay, I'll just stop off at the shops. When I get there, I'll just be 10 minutes late. And now I've got down to the shops. It is absolutely teeming down with rain. It was starting to get nice and sunny at home. And I thought, oh, it might be a lovely day, but the rain is not letting up here in Caloundra. But there is no other way around it. I am going to have to go out in this cold, wet, miserable rain and go and get this sugar and then hopefully get into the shop so we can start creating. Wish me luck. have managed to put away all the candles. I actually forgot I had to put them away until I walked in. It's like, oh, that's something else we've got to do. But I've got all the labels onto the shelf. I've had a bit of a clean up on the bench there, so it's nice and clean and tidy. I have just printed up all of the formulas for the foaming stuff I need to make. So I need to do the gentle foaming scrub and then 3 of the different body scrubs. So I've just printed all them up, but it is almost lunchtime, so I don't want to get into that and then have to clean up, eat lunch, and then start again. So I figured I'm going to just quickly pack these orders because it's not quite lunchtime. It's only 12:10 and I usually eat about 12:30. But I figured I'll pack these up and then it should be lunchtime by the time I've done it. This order here for Maria, she's taken advantage of the air freshener special I've got going for August, where the more you buy, the more you save. And she's also grabbed herself 4 of the remaining 6 of these Lavender Dreams night spray. There's only 2 left on the shelf, and unfortunately, for the short term, it does look like it is going to be discontinued for a little while, along with all of my other Lavender Dreams products. It is an essential oil blend, which I kind of made up but kind of didn't. So it is a custom blend, not available anywhere else. But the story behind this blend of essential oils is when I went to do these night products, I wanted an essential oil. I wasn't up to the point of being able to blend safely myself at this point. I didn't know enough about which ones were safe to use and stuff like that. And I decided to get in a blend, and I went to this one company, and I thought this blend sounds really nice. It's a little bit different. It's got lavender, mandarin, and chamomile. I'm not a huge fan of lavender, and I thought that mandarin would really complement it well. So I got it in, and when I got it, I was actually quite disappointed. I just felt that it smelled a little bit too sharp, a little bit too much cleaning. You know, so many of our cleaning products are in lavender, so lavender doesn't relax me because I just think cleaning, you've got to clean something. And that's what this blend smelled of. And I thought, you know, I have enough knowledge to be able to just pop in a couple of my own blends and see if I can get that real grounded lavender smell instead. So that's what I started to do. I grabbed a couple of the oils that I had on my shelf. I knew how much I could add, and I added them into this blend, and Lavender Dreams was born. And I made a night cream, I made the night spray, and I currently also have a few hand creams left in it as well. I had to discontinue the night cream a little while ago because one, to do with this Lavender Dream scent, and also a couple of the other ingredients. We've got worldwide shortages on some of them, and they've got to be really expensive, and I already struggle to sell the night cream at the price it is, so I've had to discontinue it and try and reformulate it. But this scent, Lavender Dreams, the base blend that I use and add into, unfortunately the supplier that I've been getting it from, I've got this feeling they're no longer doing the blends, because I've noticed, I've been watching it for close on a year, because I got to like halfway through my bottle and I thought I need to order some more, and I've been watching it for ages, waiting for, you know, the bigger than the 25 and 100 ml bottles. I wanted half a kilo to a kilo of it, and they just weren't coming in stock. And then all of a sudden the 100 ml went, and now they've only got 25 mils. And it's the same with a lot of their blends. There might only be 25 mils, or you can only get it in 1 kilo lots or something. There's not the wide range of sizes that they usually do. So I've just got a feeling they're stopping the blends. So I have written to them to say, are you going to restock the blends, or are you stopping? And if you are stopping them, will you be sharing the formula so we can create them from scratch? Or they don't have to. It could be a proprietary blend. It could be something they get in from somewhere else, so they don't know what it is. But because I can't get that blend from them, I can't then custom it into my own. And I have tried to replicate the blend, but I've just not had any success with it. And one of the oils in it is Roman chamomile, and I'm pretty sure it's pure Roman chamomile, not diluted, because there is no diluted oil section in the ingredients. And Roman chamomile is expensive, very expensive. So I've not had much luck so far replicating this brand. So slowly I'm having to take all my Lavender Dreams stuff off the shelf. So now I've only got 2 of the sprays and 3 of the hand creams. And then I'm out of Lavender Dreams until I can come up with a new essential oil blend. But the good thing is, I created that blend probably about 4 or 5 years ago, and in that time I've been teaching myself a lot more about essential oils, how safe, like you can't just go and buy an essential oil and whack it on your skin. And even if you are diluting them in a carrier oil, you might be able to dilute one oil at a 10% ratio, so 10% essential oil into your 90% carrier oil. But that doesn't mean to say you can do the same for every essential oil. There's some out there where you can only use them at like 0.3%. So I've been doing a lot of research into it, and I now have that confidence, as you've started to see with my Claytanicals range, to start making my own essential oil blends without relying on the soap calc, the essential oil calculator that's out there, because it's very limited in what oils are there. But I've slowly been building up my knowledge, so hopefully now I'm in this frame of mind where I can think about stuff. I'm going to sit down and try and work out a new lavender essential oil blend, and hopefully bring back the Room and Pillow Mist, the night cream as well. I need to reformulate that so it's not as expensive, and I'll also bring it out in the hand cream as well. But I'm going to continue getting these orders packed. If you are interested in that Lavender Dreams, check out the website to see if you can get it, because yeah, once it's gone, it's gone. And I know so many love that scent. I do as well, which is, I'm so gutted that I can't do it anymore. So, but we'll work something out. Anyhow, I'm going to get these orders packed, and then I'm going to have some lunch. Hey, I've just finished doing the foaming sugar scrubs with 5 minutes until I close. So I've managed to restock the mocha, unicorn fluff and the coconut lime, which were the 3 that I've only got like 1 or 2 left on the shelf. I also made up lots of little samples to go with it as well. It has not stopped raining today. It has been so grey, dull, miserable, awful weather. It really has kept people away, and those that have come into the shop have just simply walked in, walked around and walked back out. I think they're just trying to get out the rain, to be honest. So not good in terms in the shop, but I did get a few online orders, so I've got them over on my bench all packed, ready to go to the post office with me this afternoon. But I do literally have about 4 minutes until I'm shut the door and go home, and I have to go on time when I've got orders so I can get to the post office. But I do also need to go and put all this mess away back out the back so it doesn't look messy when people are looking through. But it has been a pretty productive day in terms of making things. I didn't hit my brick wall today, which was really good, so I was able to finish my my foaming sugar scrubs. I did also make my my soap dough, and I am loving this purple. It has come up so much better than I thought. I really wanted a deep, rich, dark purple, and none of my micas give that. So I used some Eminence and a bit of navy blue from off Nurture Soap and got this beautiful purple, and then a really nice bright green as well. So tomorrow I'll be able to wrap that up and leave it to cure for a couple. Well, it doesn't cure. I let it sit and fully saponify for 72 hours before I use it. So I'll be able to do that tomorrow. And we'll see what else the day brings. Hopefully the weather clears up, but the weather girl last night on the TV said it was in for the whole week, which is a shame because it really does put a dampener on sales. And today I got my notification that my insurance is due, and I'm keen to see what happens with that this year, because last year when I got the renewal notice, it was 60% more than what I was paying, and I burst into tears because it was like, I've just signed this brand new shop and now my insurance has gone up by 60%. And I wrote back and I said, I don't understand. I said, when I moved into the shop, you said there was no change in price, so why is it all of a sudden 60% more? We're not in a dangerous area, you know, gave all the reasons. And she said, oh, well, maybe we could have a look at you paying more excess. And I said, well, these are the excesses I'm prepared to pay. And then she came back, she goes, oh no, it's okay, the insurance company have agreed to do this rate, which was only about $50 more than what I'd paid the previous year. And I thought, thinking, well, what's really gone on? How do you go from trying to charge me 60% more to only charging me about $50 more? I didn't question it, I just paid it, and it's a bit dodgy. But because of having the shop and all the products I've got, it's very hard for me to actually find an insurer that will cover me for everything. So I'm kind of stuck with this one, but it is what it is. We'll see. The girl that was in charge of my account at the time, a couple of weeks later, she disappeared. She wasn't, well, she didn't disappear. She was no longer at the company. So I don't know if she was doing dodgies or whether, you know, she should have charged me more or what was happening. So I'm absolutely dreading what they're going to come back with me this year, because if it is going up by 60%, I can tell you the days are numbered, because that's just extortionate what they were wanting to charge me. But anyhow, I'm going to go and get this lot tidied up so I can head home and get to the post office in time. Oh, that's better. I just made myself a cup of tea when I actually first came into the shop, and I have had a couple of mouthfuls of it and I'm thinking, doesn't taste right, and it's not sitting in my stomach very well. I like to have a cup of peppermint tea in the morning, licorice root tea in the morning. Just that sweetness helps to curb sugar cravings for me, and it's just, you know, nice and refreshing. And the tea that I had was actually an older tea that I'd bought that actually had mint and lemon myrtle in it. Really, really nice tea, but for some reason over the last sort of 12 months, every time I drink a peppermint tea, I get a really queasy stomach. I had to actually throw out my T2 peppermint tea, because every time I went to drink it, I felt really sick, and I was feeling really queasy as I was drinking my tea, and I thought, don't know what I've done to it. I don't know how I've managed to mess up a cup of tea. And I went to throw it out, and as I walked past the bin, I thought, that's an old tea bag in, like one of the original tea bags I had. I thought, I've made the wrong tea. And I've had a quick look in my box of tea bags, and I've found another 2 in there. So I've actually got rid of those because they just make me feel so queasy. And I've made myself a new cup of licorice root tea instead. But you don't need to know my tea worries. Today, what have we got to do today? I've got a couple of orders that came in last night, both from Pamper Club members. I've got Lauren, she's got the very last of the Lavender Dreams room spray, some melts. And yes, Lauren, I had this sitting on the side waiting for your order to come in. So that is in to be packed. And I've also got one here for William, who is stocking up on soaps and shampoo bars. There is the bonus gemstone heart to go with the Queen of Hearts. So now I only have one of the bonus gemstones left. And then this morning, so William's order came through last night, and then this morning his Pamper Club renewal came in. So I'm also including your Pamper Club pack to go in here. I hope you like it. Pretty much when you join Pamper Club, you get a Pamper pack, and each year the Pamper pack does change, and I do have set things that go into it. And I really do hope that you appreciate this, William. And if it's not for you, keep it as a Christmas present for someone. I'm sure someone will enjoy it. And the other thing you're also going to find in your order is a bonus soap. The reason being is because you have not used the voucher code that we set up for you last year after your initial order didn't generate the discounts. So I've included a bonus soap to the same value as that discount code because it has expired. I could reactivate the code, but I don't think you're going to use it. So I'm just going to include that bonus soap for you, and I hope you like the one that I've selected. So we're going to go and get those packed. And I do mention William's order on here because he was very excited. He's messaged me saying he's excited that the vlog's coming, so we're going to pack your order on here. Today what I've got to do, I've got to put away the soap dough. I've at least got to wrap it up so the air doesn't get to it. And then I've got to finish labeling up the sample packs of the foaming sugar scrub and do the foaming face scrub labels. And then I want to get on to, I still haven't actually restocked the re-diffusers, which I still can't do today anyway because I didn't bring any up from the cage downstairs. I thought I had another box up here. Oh no, I do. That's right. I moved the boxes from the back to the front, so I do have some. I can restock the reed diffusers. Ugh. So we're going to restock the reed diffusers because I've been saying I'm going to do that for the last couple of days and still haven't done it. And I'm going to hopefully restock all the men's cologne because I'm out of stock there. And I do have another ladies one that I want to add, and for the ladies it will be in the perfume bottles available in the shop, and then I'll also try and do it up in the perfume oil. Hi George. So that I'm sure that's going to be George because I messaged him this morning. If not, it's Kelly from Confectionery Soap. No, it's Kelly from Confectionery Soap Co. Hi. So because we're just messaging each other as well. I have got this other one that I will do up as a perfume oil and hopefully get that on the website as well. I think people are going to love this new one that I have found. So that is my plans for today. I do also need to put the camera onto battery charge because that's running low. And I actually, with this particular camera, it does say not to charge and film at the same time. So there's going to be a little bit of a lull between things here while I get the camera charged up. And then we'll get on with this day. sitting down for the last 5-10 minutes just reading my book here. It's been a really good day and I am absolutely shattered. I think I'm going to sleep well tonight. I got everything done that I planned to do today and I've basically crossed everything off the list of what I had to do. The only thing I haven't actually done was make the ladies' new version of the perfume and perfume oil, and that's because I have run out of the perfumer's alcohol, so I will make that up tomorrow, but otherwise everything is pretty much done. So I just thought I'm going to sit down for 5 or 10 minutes and just read my book. It's been a really good day. The sun came out just before lunchtime and it's been absolutely stunning all afternoon, and it's really brought the people out. I got notification that my Vistaprint order has been delivered, so I will bring that down the shop tomorrow and I can show you what I got on those as well. But I've got about another 10 minutes until I close the shop up. There's still plenty of people out there, so I'm going to wait right on until that 4 o'clock before I leave and take the parcels to the post office, and then we'll come back in tomorrow and we'll see what we have to do for Saturday. Good morning, happy Saturday. It is beautiful out there today. In fact, it is quite warm out there compared to what it has been. So I've just turned my heater off because I don't think I'm going to need that for the day. This morning I finished editing all the footage up until this point, and while I was doing that I finished off sewing the binding on my quilt. So last night I actually sat with hubby and I sewed most of it, and I literally had like 50 centimeters left to do this morning. So while editing the video I finished that binding. So to this afternoon when I get home, I literally finished doing it. I thought I better have a quick play with Pepper because she was begging and begging. So I had a quick play with her and then I had to come out to work. So I'll show you that when I get back this afternoon. I bought down the perfumer's alcohol, so I'll be able to make up the extra perfume that I wanted to today. Yesterday as well, the girls from next door bought their candle. I do a refill candle for them. They brought that back to me yesterday afternoon, so I'm going to get that cleaned out and refilled so I can take it back to them on Tuesday. But that's pretty much all I have to do for today. So if I can, what I'm going to do is sit and have a play with the soap dough and try and create the Halloween embellishments that I want to do, so that when I come in on Tuesday next week, I can make soap. Oh, that didn't want to come to me then. I was actually thinking I've got an order that I need to pick up. I think it was from Shane. Let's have a quick look. Yes, I have an order here for Shane to go and pick and pack as well. So they're the 3 things I really need to do. I got home yesterday and found my, I thought I threw that one in the bin, found my Vistaprint order was there. So these are the new magnets that I'm going to be sending out with orders. Super duper cute. They've always got some sort of life affirmation sort of thing on there. I'm going to keep one to go on my fridge for me, and then the rest can go over there. I have got new thank you cards. We don't have very many of the original ones left now. They've probably only got, I don't know, 10, maybe a dozen left, and then we're moving on to some new cards. So when I actually did these cards, I didn't have that many photos that I was super proud of for the website, but I've been working really hard on getting those photos improved. So I picked some of the photos up and just popped them across the top, and then I've got my little blurb on the back, the code to the socials. So that was my retail thank you card, and I also got a white label thank you card done up. So I have actually put photos of the soaps across the front, and then on the back there is like the lip balm basket that I've got, and plus my little blurb there. And I also got printed up because I just didn't want to keep printing it on my own printer, and I prefer it on their sort of what's it paper. I use their flyers to print up the ingredients list for both the beeswax and the vegan friendly. When you order the the lip balms, these all need to be cut in half, and you'll get the little flyer for whichever recipe you've ordered, but I will also be emailing it so you can copy and paste the ingredients. They're both in the English or common name as well as the inky name, so whichever your brand uses, you can copy and paste those. So yeah, really pleased with everything I got done. And as soon as I got my order and I opened it up, I remembered I forgot to use the code that they always give you when you do repeat orders. So unfortunately, I didn't save myself $20 on this order, but oh well, it is what it is. But it is 9 o'clock, so I need to go and get my computer plugged in. I'm going to go and whack my new magnet on the fridge, get the door open and start this day and see where we go. so heavy. I have brought home all of the white label soaps from the shop. Some are like 2 weeks from cure, some are still 3 weeks from cure, but I thought I'll bring them all home this weekend and take photos of them, just because I've got a feeling next weekend's going to be busy, and then the weekend after that is as well, because one of them's Father's Day. I think it's the weekend after. And I thought if I do them this weekend, get the photos done, get them loaded onto the website as draft things, I can release them when I'm ready, rather than trying to run around and scramble to do photos. So I brought them all home. There are 17 different types of soaps in here, plus actually there's 18, because I've got one extra bar of this one, which is a Patreon design soap. It's a salt bar, and it was a color design to use I think it was cherry bling. I've got it on the video, I can't remember. It was cherry bling and silver, and I really did struggle with the combination. Then I decided, you know what, I haven't done a salt bar for a while, so I'm going to make one of those. But I've got all the other soaps in here. We'll take photos on my days off. I also want to have a bit of a play around on the website with some of the new Shopify native discounts. I think they're going to work the way that I want them to work in terms of my Pamper Club members. The current app that I use for it, it's just not working. I haven't heard back from the developers. I can't remember if I've spoken about this earlier, but basically the app does not always work as it should, and every time there's a new update from Shopify, it just crashes my app, and I have to go to them and then go through this whole drama of, you know, waiting. Usually I send them a message, I go to bed, and I get a reply during that night, and then I reply in the morning, and then we have to go through the whole sort of cycle again. So things take quite a while to get fixed up, but I'm hoping that with the new Shopify updates, I can actually now do it natively through Shopify, because the problem is the native discounts are not compatible with the app that I'm using. I've tested it, and the one discount overrides the other, and I want them to be married up together. So for example, if a Pamper Club member puts in to have, you know, 2 candles, where currently you get 5% off if you order 2 candles, I want them to get that 5% off plus their Pamper Club discount, and it's not allowing it to happen. It actually just gives the candle discount and doesn't give the Pamper Club discount. So very frustrating. The app has broken on me again. If you are a Pamper Club member watching, please make sure you log into your account before you add things into your cart. Otherwise, it may not generate the discounts properly. It's just been an absolute nightmare, this app. I've had dramas with it ever since I installed it, and I wasn't going to renew it this year, but about 6 weeks before it was due the renewal, it suddenly started working properly, and I had no issues with it. So I went ahead and renewed it, because it's like about a third of the price of all the other apps that do the same thing. And then I bought this second app to allow me to do the white label stuff as well as the builder soap and things. And then it just broke it all again. And the 2 apps aren't really that compatible with each other. And they're your apps. They should be. So what I'm actually hoping is, if I can get all of the native discounts set up in Shopify, get them working with each other, I can message this company and say, look, your app does not do what it says that it is meant to do. I want a refund, or at least a credit towards the other app for when it renews next year, because the other app's working. The other app is fine, it is working, and I need it for the white label side of things. So I'm going to see if I can actually get a refund from them. So I'm going to spend my days off working on that and doing the soap. Today was pretty quiet in the shop. I did have a customer come up from Cleveland, which was really nice to see. She said she only came up to see me, which was really nice. I hope they went for a nice lunch or something somewhere as well, because it was a beautiful day. But otherwise, I only had a couple of other people walk in and browse. Can anyone answer me why? It happens a lot here in Caloundra. It didn't happen a lot down in Cleveland, but it happens a lot up here. People come into the shop, and it could be any shop. They come in They walk around, have a browse, which is fine. You are not obligated to buy anything when you walk into someone's shop. But on the way out, whether I've made eye contact with them or not, a lot of customers up here go, thank you. And then they walk out. And it's like, for what? What am I actually meant to say in response? Like, I don't understand why people say, I understand why shop attendants say thank you to someone who's been in and browsed, but I don't understand where this thing has come from for customers to thank shop attendants for allowing them to browse. I don't know. It's really weird. Can anyone explain to me why people say thank you when they walk out of a shop without buying anything? It just, I don't know, because I don't even know how to respond. Normally, like, it feels really weird to say you're welcome because I don't know what I've done. But usually I end up saying have a nice day because it's like, I don't know what you're thanking me for. But if someone can enlighten me as to why people say thank you on the way out the door, I'd be very, very grateful. But it wasn't particularly busy in the shop today. I did get the neighbouring shop's candle done. I got the new perfumes done, and I'm going to be taking photos of that to get on the website for next week as well. What else did I do? I had a little bit of a clean up, and then I started doing the soap dough embellishments. And as you can see, one of them is going to have a little purple wizard. I am so happy with the purple color, absolutely beautiful. And I'm so stoked with how it is coming up. I managed to get 12 of them done, and I'll get the other 6 done hopefully on Tuesday. And I'll actually film making the other 6 for the video that I do to put out onto YouTube. So you'll actually get to see properly how I make those little gnome wizards. So really, really pleased with that. And also on Tuesday, hopefully I'll get to do the other Halloween embed as well. Now, as I said this morning, I did finish my quilts. It's going to be very hard for me to hold it up like you see so many people hold it up, because it is a king size quilt. In fact, it's bigger than a king size quilt. I've said it before, I think probably in my last vlog. I actually made it bigger than the king size bed because, you know, you have your quilts and stuff on there, and the number one thing that happens is that partners argue over who's got, you know, the most quilts. It always happens, which is why sometimes it's got to the point, because I can be a bit of a quilt hogger. It has got to the point where hubby has a sheet and I have a blanket, so we each have our own thing. But I purposely made this quilt bigger than the king size bed so that there would be no arguing. And I know it's going to be very, very difficult to get the full effect of it, but this is it. I am so happy with how it's come up and all the sort of different quilting aspects of it. It's going to be so nice to sleep under. Because it's got the nice cotton batten inside. It should be cool in summer, and it's definitely warm in winter because it kept me nice and cozy while I was actually stitching that binding on. But really, really happy with how this has come together. And I know hubby, he absolutely loves it as well, so he can't wait to get this up on the bed in the warmer months. But that is it for this month's vlog. I am just waiting for hubby to get home. He should be home in about 15 or 20 minutes. And then we're going to take Pepper for a walk. There's a really nice nature reserve up the road. There's like a big lake there and lots of walking tracks, horse trails and stuff. And we took her there last week. We took her there when she was a puppy, before she decided she didn't like walking. And we took her there and she loved it. So we thought, right, we'll take her there last weekend. We took her up there and she had a ball, and she definitely lived up to her Peppa Pig name. She was grunting and sniffing. It was so funny as we were walking, and she absolutely loved it so much. We got back home and she crashed on the floor for the rest of the night. Normally we get back from a walk and she does massive zoomies around the house and backyard. But last week she absolutely crashed on the floor, and then it was the first night since she's been able to jump on the bed by herself. It was the first night where she actually stayed on the floor all night up until 5:30 in the morning before she came and joined us on the bed. And I think she was just so shattered from this walk. And I know everyone has said, given lots of really good tips about how to get her to stay on the floor, you know, lifting her bed up off the tiles and stuff. Trust me when I say we have tried everything. I have had her on beds with legs, so she's well up off the floor. I've had her on blankets. We've currently got a bed with another bed on the top, and that works a little bit more. I think she just loves the softness of it. We've had her on rugs. We've tried all the things she loves sleeping on, like the chair over in the corner there. We've tried everything to keep her on the floor, but she decides at 2:30 every morning she's going to come and join us. She's going to get under the cover and she's going to go to sleep. She's a nightmare. But that night, last Saturday, when we took her down to this park, she stayed on the bed till 5:30 in the morning. So I said to hubby last night, when you get home this afternoon, shall we try and take her, or tomorrow afternoon, shall we take her down to that park and see if we can wear her out again and have another night where we don't have to share the bed with Pepper? So that's what we're going to do. He should be home in about 10 minutes. So I'm going to go and get changed into some proper walking clothes, and then we're going to take Pepper down to the park and hopefully wear her out for the night. And that might be the trick, is actually taking her for a big walk in the afternoon. Hubby has taken her for the last 2 afternoons. He's met me down at the post office after work, because even though it's been absolutely chucking it down in town, it's actually been all right here when he's got home. So he just walks me down the post office and then we come back home. So I've got plenty of things to be doing on my days off. Plus I've actually got to go and do a little bit of grocery shopping. I need more hours in my days off, or more days off, one of the two, I don't know. But I do hope you've enjoyed coming along with me on this month's vlog. If you did, why not leave me a thumbs up and any comments down below. And until the next video comes out, I hope you have a good one, and I'll see you then. Bye.